Hey, everybody. It is my joy and honor to do this podcast. If we've never met, I am a high school teacher and I am passionate about teaching life lessons. So this week, I get to teach my students how to build long-lasting relationships. How cool is that? Before we begin, I just want to give some credit to my wife. You know, all these life lessons, all these podcasts are actually written by both of us. We sit down each weekend before the week and we think about, hey, what do we want to teach our students this week? So quick shout out to her. I'll put a link to the description of the first interview that I ever did. It was about 2 weeks ago, and you can kind of see her character through this video. All right, so if you haven't checked out this video, check it out in the description below. Our life lessons this week are as follows. Today, we're gonna learn about how to forgive others. Tomorrow, we're gonna learn about how love is patient, the power of saying thank you, actions speak louder than words, and how love never gives up. And my hope is that at the end of this week, you are going to get a better kind of understanding of how to have a long-lasting relationship. All right, so let's start. How to forgive others. Love this, and I'm so excited to teach you this. Oxford Languages defines the word forgive as a verb. That means to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, a flaw, or a mistake. Okay, so it's something we all need to learn, forgiveness. Here's a quick story. I think we've all have had arguments with friends in the past. And for me, there's this one in particular that stood out. I had an argument with a close friend in elementary school about what? About Pokemon, of all things. And maybe some of you know about Pokemon, but we always have this thing called the Game Boy. And you could start with one of three Pokemons: Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. And I was always a Squirtle person or a Charmander person, but never a Bulbasaur person. But this friend of mine loved Bulbasaur. I don't know why, but he loved Bulbasaur. And in short, you know, like there's one day at school and we had an argument and pretty much he said this: if you don't think Bulbasaur is the best Pokemon to start with, then I don't think we can be friends. And that shocked me. I remember going home that day and my dad opened up his first PC computer that day. I still remember. This was like this big computer in our living room, and he was just setting it up, and I went up to him and I said, "Dad, here's what happened at school." And you know, my dad, like, he just listens. He's such a great listener, but he said something that really helped me think. So I explained to him the situation and how long we've been friends. And he pretty much said this: "Philip, have you ever said something to someone that you didn't mean?" I said, "Oh, like, Dad, like, that's not the point. Like, here's what he said to me and it offended me and it hurt me." And he's like, "No, I'll ask you again. Have you ever said something to someone that you didn't mean?" I said, "Dad, like, why are you talking about that?" And he said, "Because it starts with you." I know he said that, and that was wrong for him to say that, and he shouldn't be saying that. He should be grateful that he's your friend. But have you ever said something to someone that you didn't mean? I began to think, and I began to think about, have I? Absolutely, I have. I've said so many things that I didn't mean to different people, and did they forgive me? Yes, they did. So many times, more than I can even count. You know, it's easier to forgive someone when you reflect on all the times that you've been forgiven. That's point number one. So look at that real quick. So true. So many times we've been forgiven, and it feels so great to be forgiven because we messed up. We said something we didn't mean, and thankfully they forgave us. So we need to do the same for others. I love this quote. Heard this recently. What is more important to you, being right or being in a relationship or a friendship? So many times it's all about like being right, but no, for me now, it's about being in a relationship and being in a friendship. I found, check this out, and you may want to take a picture of this too. The more close you get to someone, the more comfortable you get. The more comfortable you get, the more you know about them, the more flaws you see, the more disagreements will happen, the more potential misunderstandings there will be. And check this out, the more your relationship will be tested. Every friendship that I've ever been in, I've been in many different friendships. I've been with my wife for the past almost 13 years. I've been in friendships for about 20 years. But the more you get to know each other, the more your relationship will be tested. But here's what I got to tell you. To me, it's still worth it to invest into relationships. Most people will find that as they go deeper and deeper in a relationship, it gets more messier and then they want to leave. But for me, I realized that this is every friendship. This is every relationship. So instead of leaving, we have to invest and stay, right? Now, hear me carefully here. I'm not talking about abusive relationships. If you're in an abusive relationship, you've got to leave. I'm talking about little misunderstandings, okay? Here's another one. You know, as a teacher, I get to fill my dad's shoes in listening to other people. And so many times I've spoken to students, and there's a conversation in particular that I remember about a student coming up to me about his brother and about how much he didn't like his younger brother. And pretty much here's what was said. I just don't like my younger brother at all. He's so dumb. I'm closer to my friends than I am with him. Why? Yeah, I don't like him. I just don't like my little brother. And here's what he said to me. And as he was explaining his side of the story, I was listening. And then at the end, I asked him, and my question back to him is, hey, who's going to be standing next to you when you get married? He's like, what do you mean? Like, I'm 14. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I get it. You're not going to get married for a while, but who will be standing next to you one day when you get married? He's like, I don't know. Like one of my friends. And I'm like, that's what I thought. But for me, it was my brother. And in that moment, as my brother, come on, blood runs thicker than anything else. But when my brother stood next to me at my wedding, I quickly realized he's my brother. And I need to invest in that relationship. No matter how messy it gets, and no matter how many times we fight, all siblings fight. But it's not about if you fight or not. It's about if you forgive or not. And that's what we're talking about today. So the second point I want to make here real quick is family will always be your family. They love you more than anyone else in the world. So make sure to forgive them always. Okay. And I'll finish off with point number 3. Begin to make forgiveness a habit. How do you forgive someone? By making it a habit, by going through it one time. And I'm telling you, it's tough. There's some things that have been said or done that, we can't forget. But to forgive is to release that pressure on yourself, right? To forgive is to give them another chance, to show them love and trust. So my question to you is, who do you need to forgive in your life? And I just hope that you do so with the big picture in mind. Thank you so much for listening.